think there's things that you'd like to see done. Give us a holler, give us a clue of what we can possibly conclude. And I will start out with one of the things he just mentioned is waste, the real waste problem. All of a sudden, there's a real closing of landfills. Where are they going to go? What's going to happen to them? And there is grant money available through the DEP to function, to get things started.
We have a wellness program, we have some grants in health, and I was just having a conversation with the director of that about ways we will go in the future. With healthcare reform, there's more money coming down for wellness. This is the big wellness. We are in a perfect position to get grants that we can share with the towns, instead of every town writing their grant. The other thing is this is a huge turning point for us, because with our electricity program, we have now got a financial stream, a revenue stream, which is not dependent on tax dollars. Think about that for a minute. I'm not saying we're rich, but I am saying we have a revenue stream which can provide resources to towns who are completely cash-strapped. We have to think about how to wisely use those resources going forward. And it's true what Martin says, you don't have to be in the council to use our services. However, you will pay more money if you're not in the council.
I didn't want to say that.
What you know, we should put that right out there. What we have tried to do is to say, we are reducing our dues as our revenue streams, as we get out from under long-term care, and as our revenue streams is increasing, we are reducing our dues to make it easier for towns to belong. Make no mistake, under the statute for the Hampshire Council of Governments, we need to have a certain percentage of the population in the county in Western Mass in our organization. We have that percentage now. We'd be happy to welcome any more of you. Come right in. The dues are much lower than they ever used to be, and they're on a downward spiral. But our chances to do things for you are rising. You have to have a seat at the table if you want to say what it is we should do ultimately. We can do a lot of stuff here at strategic planning, but when it comes down to the vote as to whether we're going to do emergency planning or we're going to have shared health agents, your vote is the vote that's going to determine that, and you need to be part of the council to do it. So I just want to give that little context to it.
That's helpful.
I'm very thrilled that we're going to talk about these specific things, and Martin is right. We want to talk about specific plans and programs we can do. I got a number in mind, but we need to hear about more.
Every community in Hampshire County voted in favor of the Council of Governments being formed, so they saw value there. At the town meeting in Hadley, I argued that you don't know what this organization is going to be capable of bringing to you in the future. That's why it has to succeed. It has to turn into something new. And by allowing that transition to happen, the people of Hampshire County allowed the electricity program to take form, grow, and have real potential. As was mentioned, we are a quasi-government organization. We have no taxing power. As a matter of fact, I don't think we ever had any taxing power.
Oh, yeah, we used to
Recently?
tax. Oh, no, a while back. They had the jail and all that stuff. They used
But
to.
we have no taxing power, so the council started looking at themselves more as a business. How can we be profitable and give dividends monetarily or in terms of cost savings back to the communities? And I'm proud to say that I was the chair of the electricity program when it first started out, and then Hadley voted to get out of it, but it versioned without me there. Ken Elstein, who's not here from Belchertown, I should just mention his name. He put a lot of work in this thing over the last 2 years.
Still is, yeah.
And I think Marie and other people in the electricity program would agree that Ken was instrumental in this thing really taking off and giving you guys encouragement. Marie's put so much work into this thing. She is cheap, not as a person.
Wait a minute.
She is, her knowledge is invaluable as to what she understands and knows about the electricity markets in Massachusetts. Not many people have her knowledge, and the Council of Governments is very lucky to have her.
Yep.
And I wish you could go back to your leaders, talk it over, and please join us.
Each of the towns individually, most of us are small towns and some tiny towns, individually we can't do much in terms of of regional development. We have our hands full with townwide development or citywide development. So together we can develop a plan which would be much more attractive to funding agencies, the state government, even federal government, if we had some kind of vision for regional vision for development.
I'm looking at where can we share services? Can we share a building inspector? Can we share a health agent? Assessments. Because we're to the town, we're to the place now with all of the cutbacks that we've really got to look. We've cut everything we can except people.
Yeah.
And now we got to really look at people.
We have a problem with tax assessments. We have to travel to Boston, give them starting at $50 for an appointment for them to hear your case, plus your travel time, plus the loss of work, plus you have to pay the assessors to go there and argue against you. And that should be a regional, something that could be regional here.
Be nice if we had a lot more regional training.
The energy is probably one of the crown jewels in what the COG offers to towns, and it's been successful. It's a revenue source. It's something that is obviously going well. It's growing. They're saving towns money. They're up to 6 megawatts of power being transferred monthly. So I think it's a model, probably administratively as well as operationally, of programs that can work at the COG. Personally, seeing hydro happening and personally seeing solar happening. So I think that should be part of the COG's future, as an expanded role in sustainable energy. And that means both educating municipalities and residents on what's out there, or what kind of things could work, and developing prototype projects where towns, let's say there was an old mill site with a waterfall with enough, head, and there's a company interested in coming in and trying to put a turbine in and maybe selling off the grid to some local company, to the town or local companies or a car charging port. The COG can help put together the vendors and the expertise to help a town or a private group do that. I think sustainable energy is our future, and it'll be a great place to put time and
There are a lot of places like assessments where a regional approach can provide some insulation to avoid those kinds of interpersonal conflicts that make small towns very forgiving to the point of being non-functional in some cases. There was real concern for local control, obviously. But there already is some cooperation happening. For example, on weights and measures, Granby has got Northampton, which had a little excess capacity for its weights and measure guy, doing checking the scales and the pumps and so on in Granby. And Northampton actually does the billing and takes care of all of the financial side of it as well. So it's a very satisfactory relationship. Nationally, one thing that's happened over the last 15 or 20 years is that in the larger towns with increasing tax bases, municipal services have become pretty well expanded. As things have turned and dipped, we floated the idea that there may be excess capacity in some of the larger towns that could match the dwindling volunteerism and finances in the smaller towns. So this kind of relationship between Granby and Northampton might be replicated in other inspection areas.
We decided surveys might get lost, so it would be good for a representative of the COG, whether it be a board member or we don't need to overburden the staff, go to each town and work with each town as they come up with, from a list or prepare comments, what they need help with, but what they can help somebody else with. So it's a sharing, it's two ways.